Ladies and gentlemen of the grimdark future, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this casted showdown. Spawning on the north side of the map, it's going to be Bioshift and the Dark Eldar facing off against the Tau, who are going to be on the south side here of the battle marshes. A very funky map. Essentially, there's no direct way to your opponent. You have to go through either the west or the east and go through these side passages, which then lead to the back of your opponent's base. Now, there are some really funny shenanigans on this map as well. Because if you look in the middle, a jump pack unit, for example, Raptor, or pretty much all the different Tau units that do have jump packs, could fly over the middle of the map, land in your opponent's base, potentially disrupt some energy buildings, like some generators, whatever, and then get away pretty easily. So lots of funny business on this map for sure. So we got the Dark Foundry coming up, and it looks like they are going to be getting the Mandrakes out of the map to grab the goodies. Very, very standard stuff here. And to the south side, the Tau getting their Tau barracks, as well as their first generator coming up here in a moment. Jetpacks and the Vespid Stingwing Strain. Now, I'm really curious if he's going to be taking the Vespids, flying over here, and then just going right over the top of the map. I actually don't know how Vespids would trade against a bunch of Mandrakes. I feel like multiple Mandrake squads with passive replenishment on could probably fend them off. I mean, maybe not one-to-one, but a couple of them. Mandrakes do have 30 damage, which really isn't bad. For example, a Tactical Marine hits for like 39 damage on the top end, so something to think about. All right, so we've got the Crew Carnivores coming out, and on the main base, it is going to be the Vespid Stingwing Strain. That is going to be getting ready to party. So Crew, obviously one of the things the Tau do use to fight in melee and fend off some of the rushing threats. They have a little bit of shooting, but it's really all about the melee for these bad boys. Yeah, the Vespid's going right over the middle. I was hoping that would happen. I wanted to see how this would be dealt with. So they do fly over the middle here, and are going to be going for the early Plasma Generator harass. Now, the Tortured Slave can come in and try and repair this, of course, but if the Vespids turn on him, they can kill him pretty quickly. So Mandrake's going to be coming back here to try and chase these bad boys off. And the Tau getting good damage right there, man, not bad. But Hellion is going to be arriving out of the Dark Foundry. So typically when you see the Dark Foundry, it means that Hellions are going to be out, followed up by the Reaver jet bikes. And the Crude also coming for the early bonking as well. Look at that. And they get the kill on it. That's really interesting. So the Crew come in, they help bonk it down, and the Vespid Stingwing Strain gets away without taking too much damage. I think they may have replenished. Let's see if there's any models that died. It doesn't look like it. No, so they actually managed to maintain all of that. So Info going to be jumping in here, going after the Tower of Loathing. Mandrake's going to be trying to run some interference here. Meanwhile, the Crew are going to be decapping the outside points, or just capping them. But the Crew do get attacked by a Hellion squad, as well as a Mandrake, which is something that they probably will lose 2v1. And you can see they are going to be taking casualties, fleeing away here, as they are harried and chased by these units. But the Vespid play has been really, really nasty here. Here's the Homunculus Laboratory, and we are going to be getting the Vespids versus the Mandrakes. Now, Vespids, let's see what their melee damage and defensive stats look like. So they have 5 models, and they are going to be heavy infantry, whereas the Mandrakes here are going to be basic infantry. So, okay, so the Vespid's going to be cackling a little bit there and trying to knock down this Tower of Loathing, which is being upgraded to a Tower of Dominance, which is going to make it capable of defending itself here. So Mandrake's just kind of being sacrificed. You can see the morale of the Mandrakes, or is that the other ones? Yeah, it looks like the Mandrake. So it does get broken, which means they're going to be very ineffective in combat. Vespids do drop a model. No, they don't. They're actually going to be cackling, flying over here. It looks like they did not lose any models, which is very, very good for them. And in the meantime, the Crew going to be rotating over this direction, trying to do what they can. Maybe take some critical points or secure a relic on the outside. We will find out. But the Tower early pressure has been pretty heavy metal, man. These Vespid Stingwing Strains have been flying around the base, very, very annoying. Hellions, of course, can keep up with them, and Hellions are pretty proficient in melee as well. 40 to 46 top-end damage. They can trade into the Vespids and do some work. I believe they're countered. Yeah, they got infantry, but it says they're effective against heavy infantry as well. Cool. So Vespids bouncing over to the Tower of Loathing here. The Protoss builders, the Dark Eldar, doing some work, dropping it and running. And it looks like the Dark Eldar also going to be grabbing some Mandrakes and going after their own relic. Meanwhile, the relic over here not quite taken, although, there's a stealth unit. I was like, what's going on here? What is this witchcraft? But there is a stealth team for the Tau grabbing that. So it's so funny how, from a caster's perspective, you actually can't even see when, when somebody's got like the stealth units, you just can't see them unless you're on the right perspective. All right, so let's take a look at the income of both players here. If we look at the old Dark Eldar, they're at 80, but they have 0 power going right now, which is very, very tough. Whereas the Tau are at 74, so a little bit less in terms of the overall requisition, but do have the power advantage of plus 10 because their generators have not gone down yet. Tau Commander has arrived, going to be dropping the Weeb attacks here, and he is going to be shooting into the Hellion squad, and I believe he did have the Flamethrower upgrade as well. Meanwhile, over in the east, Crew going to be raiding in really, really aggro play, and he is able to take down another one of the listening posts there, which is just freaking brutal, man. Fire Warriors now coming in, and Fire Warriors are going to be relatively weak against like Hellions and Bikes and numbers, but if they are supported by the Stingwings and the Croots and different things like that, they will have a little bit of buffering so that they can actually sit back and shoot. A little bit of skirmishing going down to the woods, and it looks like the Tau Commander are going to be pulling back to his homies, and they're going to be taking cover in the heavy bunkers. We do see the first Reaver jet bike coming out. Now, Reaver jet bikes, pretty strong units, very fast, very mobile, relatively tanky with the vehicle profile. And the Fire Warriors could take some casualties here. In Dark Eldar, are a faction that when you have to turn and run from them, certainly can take some casualties if the bikes do have the numbers. But up on the top side, Kroot still being a menace, man, really hemming in the Dark Eldar here. Whereas on the other side, do we see okay, it looks like there's a stealth team sneaking all the way into the back of the base. Man, he is relentless. So I played Bioshift on stream the other day, and I got karate chopped pretty good, but I certainly don't feel so bad now with the level this game is being played. All right, guys, so we do see the Mandrakes battling it out here, and the Tau, I think, have been routed out of this position for now. Looks like the Tower of Loathing is going to be stabilized here, while we do see Info here continuing to harass with the Fire Warriors and the Tau Commander. So I really like the playstyle of this Tau player, Info. Essentially getting that early harass with the Vespids as well as the early Kroots, and then following up with Fire Warriors. I feel like if you just go straight Fire Warriors, you can get overwhelmed really easily by like Hellions and Mandrakes and just push back early on, but having that kind of melee harass presence to drag your opponent around the map seems pretty good. So Fire Warriors going to be setting up shop, getting some really good shots here into these bad boys, and I think we do have the making of a game that's going to be going a bit longer here. So, income for both players, we do see 92 sitting for the Tau, and only 50 for the Dark Eldar, but the Dark Eldar do have triple bikes out. Those things are going to be able to chip quite a bit of manpower off if they're played carefully, and the Tau really just mustering map control here. We do see the strategic points going to be taken by what appears to be a stealth team. What is even grabbing that? Is there a stealth team nearby? Or, there's an invisible, yeah, so it's a stealth team, but I was just on the wrong perspective. God, it's going to get me every single time, man. All right, Vespid's moving in, and they are being attacked by Hellions and Reaver jet bikes, and the Tau going to be grabbing all the goodies. So Info has this side, and he does also have the Tower. Does he have this one over here? No, he actually didn't get that one. Looks like a Tower of Loathing is being built there, so the Dark Eldar are going to be trying to hold on to that one. In the meantime, the bikes are getting an okay critical mass. When you get that nasty amount of numbers, because here's the thing, if the Tau loses fight, for example, the bikes are going to be able to run down a lot of units and do a lot of damage as they retreat, so very punishing. Fire Warriors going to be setting up shop, and the bikes here are going to be just hammering into some of the overextending Vespid Warriors, and the Vespids are taking casualties. Meanwhile, Fire Warriors are being harried back a little bit by some of the Hellions, but the numbers are running really thin for the Dark Eldar, but I guess they do have the passive replenishment, and when these guys are running, obviously they're not doing any damage. So, ooh, a nice pick there from Bioshift, able to take down the Tau Commander right there. So that's a really nice turning of the tide, and if he's able to kind of resecure some of the ground here, he maybe get his way back into the game. Just like we talked about on the retreat, the bikes are really good at harrying and chasing, routing the enemy army, hunting them on down here. And we do see a lot of Fire Warriors bleeding models. So the Tau, of course, do have some listening posts that are reasonably upgraded, so those will be able to defend. And that's probably where the Tau player is going to be making his stand when he gets the listening post. Fire Warriors spam replenishing, but it looks like that's going to be a wipe. Man, Bioshift really on the hunt here with those bikes. Now Tau going to be setting up shop, but they're tied up by Mandrakes. And ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed the turning of the tide. Top side, Mandrake's going to be resecuring this point. They are going to decap that from the Tau. Look at the Vespids getting into the base once again. So even during all this harass, right, the Tau base is under heavy pressure. They probably feel that the listening post is going to be adequate for holding, and maybe the remnants of the Fire Warriors. I don't know, that's a lot of bikes. So he's counterattacking with his Vespids, which seem to do pretty good damage against buildings. That Dark Foundry is under attack here. The Tortured Slave going to be rebuilding over there once the Mandrakes are able to grab their goodies. And is this actually going to go down? The Dark Foundry, of course, gives you your skimmer units, your Hellions, Reavers, Raiders, all sorts of good stuff. But back at the base here, Mandrakes are in heavy pursuit of the Fire Warriors. Hellions are battling the Kroots. Bikes, did they lose a couple? Looks like they have 3 bikes here. They may have lost 1 bike when I was looking away, but regardless, the battle does rage on. I think the Tau, with their commander having been respawned, probably will be able to find a way to hold this. With the defensive turret and the Tau Commander being able to kind of fly away and use his jetpack. Fire Warriors, though, getting killed to the last. Man, he's losing a lot of those units there. Really bleeding it out. But the Tau had a massive advantage economically, had double the income. And he does jetpack away, a little bit delayed there. The Reaver jet bike's going to be hot in pursuit, and that Tau Commander is going to be going straight into the trash can here. Because now, yeah, the pressure continues to mount for the Tau. Up in the north, Vespid's going for the building kill, but it does look like Bioshift is going to be grabbing the Tortured Slave, getting the repairs on the Foundry, getting another jet bike here, and the Mandrakes are able to force them back. So economics for both players. Let's take a look. 62 for the Dark Eldar. Tau still have a big economic lead, but army-wise, they're going to be pretty damn weak right now. They're kind of getting spawn camped here a bit. Probably going to have to use the Vespids to come in and try and chase some of these units off, and these Fire Warriors just can't seem to get a critical mass. So So bikes move again, laser beams of doom, maybe going to get a wipe on a Hellion squad. We'll have to see. Fire Warriors have 2 models left, of course, are going to be regenerating, but it looks like they do get karate chop there. Very, very nice play from our Dark Eldar player. Mandrake's coming in, taking the home base of the Tau. So how the tables have turned. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys, including myself, probably thought that replay was going to be over very, very quickly, or the battle was going to be pretty one-sided there. But no, it's continuing to be competitive. Nice pick there, using the Vespids. He flew over, jumped, intercepted that last Hellion, getting the full wipe right there. So both players taking a lot of casualties here. And what are the Tau going to be making? Tau Commander is going to be coming out once again. Vespid's going to be using the MLG tricks and flying over the building here. Replenishing in a moment. Tau Commander, he can put up a decent fight against these bikes for sure. And listening posts here. The Tau have secured a lot of this side of the map. So the Tau kind of have this side now, whereas this side is going to belong to the Dark Eldar once they get all their listening posts up and whatnot. All right, Tau Commander using his burst cannon, shooting to the Reaver jet bike, and it looks like the listening post is going to be able to effectively kind of poke back those Mandrakes. Stealth team coming in. Now the stealth teams, once you get tier 2, can get those anti-vehicle cannons, whatever the hell they're called. We'll look in a second. There it is. Yes, the fusion blasters. And they're pretty good at taking down the bikes, so we're going to see when that comes into play here. But the Vespids, hanging in there, using their sweet heavy infantry profile to bash some of the Reaver jet bikes. And it does look like Bioshift maybe going to be dropping the pressure here, and the Tau are going to be able to stabilize. Glorious game so far, though. This has been really good. And a proxy plasma generator. Yeah, I've been seeing this in high-level play. When your base is like very compromised, people tend to proxy those things around the map. And an unfortunate micro here from Bioshift a little bit. He does let some of his jet bikes get overextended and maybe drag down. So he's able to weasel this one away. We'll have to see. Is he going to be able to escape with that jet bike? It's very, very low. Sitting at 12 HP. Got to micro that thing back if you can. Although I guess he's just staying the course. Tau Commander able to get a nice pick right there. But Tau Commander is very beat up as well. Sitting at 162 HP. Very, very low. And once again, the Dark Eldar really keeping the pressure on their opponent here. Well, the Mandrakes are grabbing this, and we do see the strategic points going back to the Druki. Sorry, that's fantasy. It's the Dark Eldar here, or the Drukari, I believe is what they're called, right? Is it the Drukari? Yeah, so you have the Dark Eldar, Drukari, Druki are from fantasy. Okay, I think that's correct. I could be wrong. You guys will have to let me know. All right, so let's take a look at the state of the game here. Vespid Stingwing Strain, Tau Commander, couple Kroots for the Dark Eldar, Mandrakes. And I believe there were some Reaver jet bikes on the table. It looks like over here, the Tower of Loathing has secured the relic and has been upgraded. And the Reaver jet bikes actually discover the proxy here. Now, if the Dark Eldar are able to maneuver over here, take down this listening post, knock down the relic, which of course is big, and take down the plasma generator, that would be a huge win for them. So income for both sides, we do have 86 and 80. Oh, how the tables have turned. Very, very even income for both players this game, which has been great. Over to the west side of the map, we do see the Vespids knocking down that. So it's a big win there for the Tau. And the Tau going to be getting some Kroots out. Not really bothering with Fire Warriors too much right now. It looks like they're just kind of chilling out. Haven't seen any advanced tech yet. Both players are really going pedal to the metal here on the earlier tiers of tech. Tau Commander going to be trying to get the bikes. The bikes are very quick, very fast, very furious, and they will be able to escape there without taking any casualties. And this point is going to be decapped by the Tau stealth team there, so not bad at all. And that potentially is going to give Tau access to both the relics. Now, if the game does go really long, the relic units can come into play. But I don't know if I've actually ever seen or played in a game myself where I've seen the Dark Eldar relic units. It'd be fun to see that. All right, so technology here, we do have the Poison Blades, so the Dark Eldar melee attacks are going to be more effective, which is quite nice. And here we do also have the Torture Pit add-on, which is going to give them some of the soul harvesting, which gives them those unique abilities, which are quite good. It's kind of like Total War in that way. You know how in like Total War, there's some factions like Khorne, for example, or the Gods. They have access to army abilities, and then there's some factions that just don't have that. It's always been a little bit strange to me. I guess ideally it's incorporated into the balancing of the factions overall, but yeah, it's a little bit of a funky mechanic there. All right, so the Tau have access to the Eastern Relic. To the west, the Tau are going to be trying to capture that right now, but the Dark Eldar are going to be coming over here with some Mandrakes. I don't think they have any detection, though, which is pretty funny. So the stealth teams here are just going to be cackling all the way to the bank, which is quite good for them. And both players just kind of licking their wounds from the earlier fights. Nobody's going 2 balls deep right now. Nobody's trying to pick a really, really big fight. Just getting their bearings, getting their technology, and now we do see the Hall of Blood here, which is, I believe, just being built. All right, I wonder what he's going to be doing with that. Probably just getting an Archon, and you, of course, get your Witches and Warp Beasts from that, and it does allow for the Planetary Raid, which is kind of your tech path there. All right, Tower of Loathing, Dark Foundry, going to be doing more Reaver jet bikes, and Tau setting up another, a Path to Enlightenment in the back here. Okay, that's a research building, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't played too much Tau myself, so I'm just kind of learning based on what I've seen in some of these games. Listening posts are up, and are the Dark Eldar going to commit and try and take down this listening post out here? With 3 Reaver jet bikes, maybe they could, Although the Vespids could also fly over and maybe intercept that, but it looks like he's not going to have enough time to get there, and the Dark Eldar are going to be knocking that down, which is going to be a big win for them too, because they're going to get a generator as well. On this side of the battlefield, a little bit of haggard skirmishing as we do see the stealth teams death by 1,000 spoon blows taking down the tortured slave here, and the Eldar a little bit indecisive. Not Eldar, excuse me, the Tau. Trying to decide which direction they want to run here. We'll see what they end up doing. Stealth teams do get discovered and are going to be jetpacking away there, so they should be able to escape. Meanwhile, the Tau getting that critical mass together, and that's very, very scary. When the Tau get that doom stack of just like a big old like crossfire, fire warriors with the pulse rifle upgrades, it gets really, really disgusting, guys. All right, running to the north are the Reaver jet bikes. They're going to be fleeing away. He does have a decent little mass of them now, but still wouldn't be enough to stand up to this army. So he's got to be careful. Fire warriors going to be thumping pretty hard from downtown. With proper micro, this bike should get karate chopped here. And somehow Palpatine lives. It looks like he was focus firing the wrong bike and did not notice the HP of that injured Reaver jet bike there. Witch Cult Arena coming up, and that does have, I believe, contains research to improve commander units and allows Witch Squadron Talos. Very, very cool. Okay. Scourge Squad on the way. Scourge Squads can get the Dark Lances, which makes them very, very good against vehicles. So if the Tau do decide to transition into some of their scary vehicles, those will be useful. But honestly, they do pretty good damage against most things. Path to Enlightenment is coming up as well. And over to the east, we do see a bit of a skirmish. Mandrakes trying to claim this territory here, but the Vespids and the Fire Warriors able to corner them. And that should be a wipe, right? I don't think they're going to make it unless he's paying for the replenishment. Looks like he just tries to dive into melee and do as much damage as he can on the way out there. But I don't think they're going to make it too much further. And the Tau are going to be getting their prize. All right, guys, we're approaching the 17-minute mark in this game here, as the Reaver jet bike's going to be zooming down the west side of the map, going to be looking to attack into the listening post here. And what are the Tau going to be making? It looks like a Pathfinder team, which is a detection unit, and nice little utility piece there. But the bikes are really just going for the goodies, man. They're looking for key buildings, looking for generators most likely, doing a little bit of scouting as well. And the less mobile Tau army kind of having to waddle after them. But the Tau now have some anti-vehicle. You can see that we do have the fusion blasters coming out, which is really brutal. They do a lot of damage against vehicles and could melt the bikes. Now, what are the Dark Eldar going to do themselves? Going for a lot of Scourges. Wow, look at that. So is he going to get the Dark Lances on those? It looks like he's just doing the basic weapon variants for now, which still hit pretty hard. 53 to 66 damage is quite good. And obviously, if you see the Tau player whip out vehicles, you can always just research those pretty quickly and get them added to your squad. So Tau going to be going for it. This map, of all the maps that have, like, this one is the base trading map. But man, look at the bikes. God damn, look how quick they killed those Vespids. What was that? He friggin' melted those guys. He must have gotten some serious upgrades for those bad boys. Stealth team's creeping around this side, but the Archon does have his dreaded Incubus, and looks like he is going to be able to push these guys back. And we could see a base trade situation. So the Tau going to be moving in, and I don't know, the Tau might get forced into a base trade because the Dark Eldar are already all up on their base. Scourges with the right weapon upgrades can actually kill buildings reasonably quick as well. And they're going to be setting up and unleashing, and you can see big damage going down in the listening post here. Tau also able to bonk pretty well. The Tau Commander and the Fire Warriors are putting a decent dent in here, killing a Mandrake squad. Tower of Loathing's going down, but I don't know. I think the base trading is going to be favoring the Dark Eldar here. So they're gathering up. We do see two Scourge squads melting what they can. Earthcast builders trying to do the repairs, but the fat base trade is underway here. Witch Cult Arena is under attack, and what is going to be getting built in the Dark Eldar base? Looks like not much. It's going to be using the bikes to harry and skirmish, and that's the thing. If the bikes can just be an ample defense force and keep these guys in check, then the rest of the army is probably going to wipe the Tau base. Tau Barracks is out. Fire Warrior team does arrive, but those Scourges are going to be thumping, man. They're getting some serious damage in there. Back at the base, Fire Warrior teams, as well as the Tau Commander and the Stealth teams, putting some hurt down to the buildings. Another Reaver jet bike is in the process of being built, but is not going to be finishing. And, Witch Squad is coming down. Okay, so probably going to get a Witch Squad, reinforce it a little bit, and then try and just overwhelm this army. Scourges actually just kill the army production, and then they're going to be trying to wrap around the map here. Now, Scourges can fly, of course. They do have wings, so they can jump up in the sky and ambush this army. And it looks like it's going to be a big Alpha Strike coming in here from the Dark Eldar. A lot of bikes in play. We do have the Scourges coming for the back push, and the Archon is also here with his Incubus, which is going to be a nasty little squad. And I can't help but feel that this Tau army is going to get karate chopped. Now, yes, the Stealth teams as well as the Tau Commander can escape, but everything else cannot. So Archon's going to be moving in, and look at the Fire Warriors just turn around and start really mowing these guys down. Nice little trip mines right there. But here comes the party. The bikes are on the way in. Archon got melted pretty bad, showing the firepower of the Tau. And are the Scourges going to be able to get it done? A lot of DPS going down from the Scourges. They're firing from around the pillar. Kind of like the Dark Eldar Dark Reapers, and that Tau army is in Struggle City a little bit. Granted, a lot of the Reaver jet bikes have gone down. It's going to be harder for the Tau to probably rebuild looking at their base. I don't know if I see any workers around right now, but looking pretty hog wild. Close little fight here. We do see the Scourges shooting effectively into the Fire Warriors, but really good fight back though from the Tau. I thought that was going to be an extremely one-sided karate chop, but it looks like the Tau were able to put up a very good fight. Fire Warriors don't have too many numbers left. Looks like there's going to be 4 of them. Scourges, it looks like there's still at least 1 squad there. There's 2 squads, 2 separate squads, which of course we're going to be reinforcing. Tau Commander going to be helping out while these stealth teams go after the building here. And man, this is actually really tight. Now, switching perspectives here. There are stealth mandrakes, and is there any detection here for the Tau? That could be the big difference maker. The Scourges end up living. Tau Commander going to be weaseling about. He looks like he's going to be trying to jump pack away, or maybe go for the main building here, take down the Cabal Fortress, which is making Homunculus right now, so it's a secondary commander unit. But the stealth mandrake's able to be a big old menace. There are some stealth Tau here as well. I really wish we could just see all the stealth units from a casting perspective here, but can't have it all. Hall of Blood has been built over here. Looks like it was rebuilt after the initial fall. And the Scourges shooting in, melting some more units, forcing back the stealth teams, and I think that is going to be the end of the aggression. I think that the Scourges are just going to move in and kind of bully right now. You know, they're a pretty damn good unit. He has both of them. They can melt these things really quickly. And the Tau, are they rebuilding any of their infrastructure right now? Looking at income for both players, 62 for the Tau against 102. So the Eldar were able to maintain their economy a little bit better during that little base trade they had. And overall, I don't know. I think the Scourge is just going to come in and clean up shop here. As we do a little bit of fast forwarding, you do see the Scourges mowing down the building right there, able to get a nice little karate chop. And now they are going to be heading back towards the main base here of the Tau. Setting up, ripping shots. Don't see much more the Tau can do. Commander does get taken down, and the Scourge is able to melt. GG, well played. What a freaking great game that was. That was really fun. I enjoyed the hell out of that one. Super back and forth, and that's an experience I've had on that map quite a bit. It's just base trading. You know, you'll be on one side, they'll be on the other. You're like, screw it, let's see who kills each other's base first. Ultimately, what were the big turnings of the tide there? I mean, man, the Tau really had them on the back foot early on. I guess when the Tau kind of maybe, they either overstayed their welcome or didn't adjust their composition correctly, because when they got routed by those 5 or 6 bikes, they just lost so much. And even though the Dark Eldar were back economically, their army trading was a little bit more effective. And you can see that even reflected here in the score from BioShift. So GG, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. We'll be back with some more sweaty castle replays soon. Appreciate you guys. And that is going to be it for today.